Welcome back here to another Wednesday night edition of the Ultimate Fighter 25 recap here on EVil Intoxicated. EVil Eddie and Ted Czech. Above me is Ted Czech. What's going on, Ted? I'm doing awesome, man. Looking forward to next week's show. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but I'm really excited about next week's show with, well, let's jump right into it. Next week's matchup, Ted, who is it?
It's Julian Lane. Let me bang, bro. Let me bang. I do let you bang. Yeah, so that's next week. I mean, they chose that at the end of this episode. Ramsey Nigem, Team Dillashaw versus Julian Lane, Team Garbrandt.
Well, here we go. Another episode going into this one. No love, 4-0 going into this one, man. Not looking too good. And we were talking about it last week. He was kind of, you know, it was either going one or two ways. He was either just kind of giving up on it, and also he could have, you know, stepped his game up a little more. But we just found out that this fight isn't even going to be happening. So my first question to you is, does that kind of take some of the steam away from the Ultimate Fighter this season, that this fight isn't matched up yet, that it's called off for now?
Oh, and that's a definite.
Yeah.
The last I knew, Cody Garbrandt was in Germany getting stem cell treatments, but that I didn't hear that it was totally off. I heard he was in Germany, and Dillashaw was saying, looks like somebody's looking for an excuse to pull out. Now we know officially the fight is off.
Well, I don't know if it's officially off, because Dana White did say we are sending him out to Germany. This place always has 100% success rate. Send him out to my guy. So unless Cody's some kind of super freak where this doesn't work, then I don't know. But it doesn't look good at where we stand right now.
Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like the jury's still out. I don't know. I say it ain't over till Fat Lady sings. So, so you know, I'm gonna go with that. You know me, I'm a glasses half full kind of guy. I'm going with the fight still on. But you know, we'll see.
I really do hope so. All right, so we had Hader versus Diego going into this one, and it was kind of awkward because these two guys didn't want to face one another. They're teammates down at ATT. They've trained together before. You know, what were you picking up from all of this? You know, the tension in the house between them.
It seemed to me as though it mattered a lot more to Hader Hassan than it did to Diego Sanchez. Diego Lima. We got two Diegos. There's only room for one Diego in this town. In this UFC. So it seemed like it mattered more to Hader Hassan than to Lima. Not that Lima doesn't enjoy his friendship, but I think he was able to you know, kind of turn that part, pull up a wall, turn that off, however you want to put it. And I liked well, the other interesting thing is that Lima lives in Georgia. He's got his own place in Georgia with his brother, who's the Bellator welterweight champion, and then a couple other guys. And then Hader Hassan is at the big place in, I guess it's Coconut Creek, Florida. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, they've trained together, but it doesn't seem like they're in there day in and day out together.
Yeah, they used to years ago. But they still are affiliates of ATT.
Right.
You know, but you could still tell that they're still good friends. And like we saw last week's show, he was like, "I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I don't want to fight you, bro. I love you, bro." Right.
Yeah. Big hug and all that shit. Yep.
You know, Ted, let's talk about the fight really quick. Let's get that out of the way here. Honestly, it seemed like Diego was making Hader play his game.
Well, I mean, we knew that Hader Hassan was going to pursue him. We knew Hader Hassan is because he said, like, I only know one way to do it, and that's just to get in there and go after the guy and be aggressive. But I liked Lima's kicks to the body.
Yeah,
I thought those were very good. He actually did, he caught Hassan a couple of times on the chin, but didn't seem to have a lot of pop behind him. But I really was impressed with his kicks to the body. I thought that was, at least in this fight, that was the best aspect of his game, or at least the one that's going to translate into other fights, because his takedowns, although he was successful, you know, we're not looking at a D1 wrestler doing a takedown. You know what I mean? His takedowns weren't all that great, but it seemed like Hassan really has not worked on his takedown defense.
Well, they were looking for a striker versus striker going into this one. It did seem like they were just really trying to stand and bang. You know what I mean? And Diego threw him off with that. And I loved the Muay Thai kicks that he was landing. Absolutely amazing. And he was getting a couple of takedowns. That played a huge role in this fight, especially in that very first round.
Yep, and the second one as well. Start with the body kicks, and then it was the second part of, I think it was the second part of both rounds. He had Hassan's back, and did you see at the end of the second round, he had that armbar. He looked like he was about to just yank on that SOB. And I'm not talking about not Hassan. I'm just that SOB, like just the arm. Like he was really about to yank on that thing and seal that, but the bell sounded. I thought it was a very entertaining fight. You know?
I was impressed with how calm and relaxed Diego was here, and he really used the limberness, how limber he is. He's a tall man. He's a tall guy.
6'2".
And you know what, Ted? Honestly, I wasn't expecting him to play the wrestling game. I thought we were going to probably see a knockout tonight. But, a lot of it went down on the ground. I think Hader did a great job defending the submission in the first round. A lot of getting out of bad situations. And he did also land a really solid jab that kind of looked like it stunned Diego in the first round.
Yeah, Hassan did a great job fighting off the rear naked choke. He did, absolutely. But you mentioned how calm Lima looked, and they in the show they really played up the fact that maybe his mental game wasn't all there.
Yeah,
he said it. Lima himself said it. Dana White said it, but looked like he got it all together. I think T.J. Dillashaw did a great job of encouraging him. I think Dillashaw somehow sensed that or knew that about Lima, and so therefore really was like, "You got this, man. You got this. You're looking great. You're looking fantastic. I like I like this. I like that about you. Do this, do that. You're gonna do
too powerful. You're too good."
TJ is a great coach, and I think he's learned that from Dwayne Ludwig.
They did kind of show us more of what they're doing to get these guys ready for their fights. We saw Uriah Faber going in there to help out as well. Always love seeing his face around there. And I think they're doing a great job with helping Diego with moving. You could see in the fight tonight how he just kept circling and just picking his spots there. And they were even showing him kind of what the Diaz brothers do with catching the hands. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, wait, that was Faber.
Yeah.
Faber
was helping Hader. Yeah.
It was Hader. But Lima, I don't know. Lima, no, but you're right. Lima, I liked his movement. I did like his movement.
Working with Dwayne and TJ, their movements are on point.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. What did you think of the balloon up the nose thing? That looked painful, man.
I was about to bring that up. I've heard of
just looking at it.
I've heard of that before, and they put Faber on the bench, and he was like, "You're gonna have to scoot up a little bit just to show how short Faber is." He was just like halfway down, but he was completely sprawled out there. He's like, "You're gonna have to scooch up a little bit." And then when he did it to the second nostril, he was like, the anticipation of it was like too much for him. He like grabbed it off of his nose.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's worse, that or waterboarding. That looks like a torture thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That looks like you could torture somebody with that. Just keep shooting balloons up their noses, up their nostrils. I thought that was pretty interesting. Did you notice? It was real quick. Faber said to Cody that he thought that he said something about Lima.
Yeah,
like
he was favoring Lima when they were picking fighters.
The fight. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa. Faber's being honest. Okay. But yeah, I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I actually wrote that down as well. It was really quick that they showed it, and it kind of shows you like what with Dana White, what he was saying, how he's one of the youngest fighters right now, and he's at the peak of his fighter years right now. So I wonder if that's any foreshadowing there, why they would show some of those scenes. You got to think about it. It makes me wonder if Diego is going to go real far in this thing, because they seem like they're picking out some pretty good clips for hyping him up.
Okay, yeah, he's only he's 28. Mm-hmm. He's 12-5, 12 win. Well, now he's 13. I forget. Sometimes they count these fights, and sometimes they say, "Oh no, those are exhibition fights. Those those don't count. But I mean, going into this fight, he was 12-5. Yeah, I mean, he's only 28. He's the youngest guy there. Because it is about redemption, so you figure these guys have been around for a long time. So yeah, at 28, he is the youngest guy there. So that could have something to do. That could be an edge for him, that he is younger than everybody else. How
about this?
Man, we'll see. What's that?
How about when they were both getting ready for the fight? How they were kind of praying, and then Hader was telling us how his dad escaped from Saddam and his uncle was actually hung.
Yeah.
That was very sad. I didn't know any of that. Very sad.
No. And so Hader Hassan's brother is Mehdi Baghdad?
No. His first name is Mehdi, and his last name's Hassan, I believe.
But he fights in the UFC.
In Bellator. Or no, he fights for UFC Fight Pass, so it's either Titan FC. It's probably Titan FC.
Oh, I thought his brother was Mehdi Baghdad.
No. Mehdi Baghdad's on the season, though.
Who's Mehdi Baghdad?
Mehdi Baghdad's on the season. He just lost last week.
Because I'm like, wait a minute. Hassan grew up in Baghdad, so I thought maybe his brother took. I thought sometimes people change their last names. I thought, his brother took the name of the city that they grew up in. He's Hassan and his brother's Baghdad. His brother's first name is Mehdi. So I thought, Mehdi Baghdad is his brother.
That's funny shit.
Wow.
I see how you made that mistake, but yeah, I do believe his brother is Mehdi Hassan. I might be wrong with that though. You're more right than I am. I'll tell you that. A matter of fact, Ted,
Mehdi Baghdad was his brother.
They were showing him around the house with his nephews and stuff. When I actually interviewed Hader Hassan, it was on Halloween, and he had to hide in the bathroom because the kids were just going crazy running around the house, all hyped up on sugar.
Wow, man.
Yeah, he plays an important role in those kids' lives.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Did you notice how at the end of the fight, Cody said, "Get ready for 3," and then the ref goes, "No, we're done."
I wanted to ask you, did you think it was going to go into a third round? Because it was kind of close, but some people can say that first round could have even been a 10-8 almost.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but I mean, I thought Lima won both rounds.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, so I always look at the clock as I'm watching this, like my watch, not the clock on the TV.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that one too, but I'm looking at my watch and I'm thinking, okay, do we have enough TV time for a third round or don't we? And I thought, maybe it's going to 3. We might be able to squeeze in a third round, especially if it's a short third round.
Yeah.
But then when he got the second takedown, when he got the takedown in the second round, I said, he's got it. He sealed that. Then he started going for submissions and everything. So I said, he's got both rounds.
With only 90 seconds left on the clock, too, he really turned things up there. That definitely sealed his fate right there.
Yep, and so I thought it was funny when Cody's like, "Get ready for 3," and the ref's like, "Nah, we're done." You got to be positive. Cody's got to be positive about things, and you have to get ready for 3, but the third one didn't come.
So, Ted, I got to ask you this as well as our audience. We're going to rate it out of 5 stars. And first, let me ask you this question. If this was your first time watching Ultimate Fighter ever, and you tuned in tonight, are you tuning in next week?
Yeah, I think so. I think, kind of similar to last week. I think it had a little bit of everything, getting into the fighters' backgrounds. I think they try to have these elements every time. Getting into the fighters' backgrounds, showing some home video footage, getting into the training, and the fighters' motivations and things like that, and then the fight itself, and then of course, you come out of that and you choose the next one. I mean, it's a formula. So yeah, no, I would. I thought the fight itself was exciting. Baghdad.
What's up with you in Baghdad, Ted?
I don't know. Hassan definitely had his shots. I think he got a little gassed. But he definitely has heavy hands. So, we've seen Lima get knocked out. Oh, here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. Talk about Lima getting knocked out. Eddie Gordon was his dance partner, if you will, the first time around that the two of them were on The Ultimate Fighter, and now they're both on the same show again. This time around, though, Eddie Gordon lost, and now Diego Lima moves on to the next round. Isn't that something?
Yeah. How about that?
That's pretty interesting. How about that?
Cash me outside the octagon. All right, so out of 5 stars, Ted, I thought they had a pretty good formula here, but the one thing that I really think they need to show more of is what's going on inside the house between the fighters. That's the one thing I crave about the Ultimate Fighters. What's going on? How are these guys interacting? These guys are living together.
You got that last week, hanging with the boys. We're hanging with the boys.
I've been using that line all week on my Instagram.
Oh my God. Didn't you like when I said he's what did I say? Bantamweight champ, lightweight drinker. He just can't hold his liquor.
That's a good one.
Hanging with the boy, and his girlfriend's like, you're gonna sound like a dude.
Matter of fact, Chad, when you were making fun of him last week, when you guys were joking about it, I was like, oh, he was just having fun, and Cody actually liked the tweet, so I think he was real embarrassed about it. Is the point, right?
Yeah,
I mean, what he was doing.
It made for good TV. You know what I'm saying? It's like let me bang, bro. Is gonna live on forever. And I think hanging with the boys will as well. I think it will.
And you know what? It wasn't even that crazy of a moment. It was just like, I kind of feel like there hasn't been many moments yet so far this season of what's going on inside the house. Like I just brought up. Show us more of it. Show us more of what's going on in there. We want to see what these guys all have egos. You know what I mean, Ted?
Yeah, but you had that, and then the week before you had Jesse Taylor running around naked. Yeah. I mean, how much more of this do you want, Eddie?
I'm sure they're going to see some of Tom Glitcho. He's a pretty funny guy, and I'm surprised we haven't seen much of the the silliness going on in there. So hopefully next week.
And the when they shaved themselves and made the little bear, that was good too. I like that.
That was classy.
So I'd give it a 4.5. I give it a 4.5. 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, compared to last week, Ted, did you like last week's episode better or this week's? Because it was pretty close, like you said. I like this week's better.
About the same. About the same. I think I gave that one a 4.5 as well.
Yeah, you did. I'm going to give this one a 4.
I'm going to give all 4.5. So I'm going to be like Pat and say KO round 1.
Round 1.
I'm just going to be 4.5 stars across the board from now on.
The only episode I didn't like was the second episode. Well, let us know what you guys thought about this episode tonight on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and also at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. All right, Ted, so moving forward, and guys, we got the open chat room going. It's time to jump into a little bit of MMA news here, Ted. What do we have in store for tonight?
Let's see. Mighty Mouse. Good old Mighty Mouse Johnson gave an interview, and he said that, he said a number of things. I think if you want to equate this to pro wrestling, I think this pretty much is his heel turn. Some people say, John Jones, he can't decide whether he wants to be the good guy or the bad guy. He's two-faced or whatever. Well, I think Demetrius Johnson kind of turned a corner here, realizing that if he wants to make more money, to me the formula is you got to finish fights or at least have very exciting fights, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to promote yourself. You got to say crazy shit. You got to be controversial, and you got to promote yourself. So Mighty Mouse has an interview. I think it was with ESPN. But he said a number of things, including that Ronda needs to grow the fuck up because, she had 2 losses, but it's MMA and, it's how you take your losses. And Mighty Mouse hopes that, when and if he loses again, he's lost only a couple times, but when he loses again, that he's able to take it better. So there was that. He talked about, I like this quote. There is not another sport in the world where you can be the best at it, but not get paid the best. Now, first of all, I think he means not get paid the most. But anyway, but beyond that, I said, okay, let's look at football. So after the Super Bowl, your boy, my boy, Tom Brady.
My boy. Yeah.
Everybody's saying he's the GOAT, right? Everyone's saying Tom Brady's the GOAT. Is he paid GOAT money? I mean, he's paid very, very well. But there are 5 guys ahead of him in the NFL. Number 1 is Drew Brees. Then you got Andrew Luck. Then I looked this up. Then you got Olivier Vernon, who's he's a the other guys are quarterbacks. Olivier Vernon apparently is the defensive end for the Buffalo Bills. And then you've got Joe Flacco. Okay, you got 4 guys ahead of Brady. And then you have Joe Sacco Flacco. and then comes Brady. So he's not paid the best. He's considered the best. He's not paid the best.
How much does he get paid? Did you find out? You know how much? He must get paid a good amount.
It was his contract is for $28 million. I'm not sure if that's 1 year or if that's his. If it's a multi-year, I'm not sure.
Somebody like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson defending the title as many times as he has, tying it with Anderson Silva. If that guy's not making top dollar over there at the UFC as a champion who, continuously puts on, there's something wrong there. We say this all the time. This is one thing that needs to be fixed in MMA, in my opinion, Ted. But you make a good point, and I like that you did a little research there on.
Try.
On that, but he kind of makes a point in the MLB. The top guys there are making multi-million dollars. Maybe not the NFL, but even the kickers get paid at least a good amount of money sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm just saying hello here. We've got Love Stop, we got Pat, and we have Ann checking in.
Pat's back. The Love Stop showing the love, and Ann, welcome back.
Yep.
So, guys, if you have any questions, we just finished recapping The Ultimate Fighter, but right now we're talking about Mighty Mouse, him kind of turning a page. It kind of seems like he was thrown into the fire and came on as Two-Face, because I don't ever remember Mighty Mouse ever, throwing shade on anyone, especially
well,
MMA.
You're going to like this next one, then. You ready for this? MMA has the rudest, most negative, dumbest, ignorant fans in the world, but they're also the most passionate.
You know what, Ted? You got to kind of understand where he's coming from, because the fighters, of course, there's going to be a lot of people on there that are talking smack. But even like on Reddit, there's a lot of great people, and then this is for every sport. This is for anything that anyone shows interest in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think he gets upset because he's worked so hard, and he's a very, very technical fighter, and he believes that a lot of people don't appreciate that. They don't appreciate what he does out there. They just want to see personality. And, aside from this interview, he's been, well, frankly, kind of like watching paint dry. As far as when you listen to him. I mean, he's not a Conor McGregor. Let's face it. He's not a Nick or Nate Diaz. He's not a Conor McGregor. He's not a guy that talks a lot of smack. He just isn't. Some people are, some people aren't. But he kind of takes offense because he thinks that that's all that people want. I kind of get where he's coming from.
Of course, because people are almost getting paid for their personalities half the time in MMA, or getting, a little extra treatment because of the way they're entertaining the fans. I agree with that.
It's the entertainment business, though. I mean, it's the fight game. You got to sell. You got to be able to promote yourself, I think. But
yeah, and it's just a shame. It's not like that in football or baseball. It's in MMA. It's and I wonder why that is. Is it because?
Well, I mean, okay, let's take any NFL team.
Okay.
They've got a whole team. They've got a whole machine behind them, pushing them. Not only you've got the NFL that promotes itself and the teams and the games, and then you've got each of the teams that have marketing teams promoting this stuff. Whereas, I mean, the UFC, they do what they can, but they can only do so much. In my mind, a fighter should not feel entitled to a push. A fighter can influence the UFC if they, like I said, finish fights, or at least have hella exciting fights if they're not finishing, and if they promote themselves. You gotta promote. You gotta take responsibility and promote yourself. And I know not every fighter is comfortable with that, but that, to me, in my mind, you got to start that. You initiate that, and if you get the UFC, if they decide to do a 5-minute segment on you or something like, or focus on you in some way, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah, and they're usually always picking the fan favorites. And Mighty Mouse, I think after his last fight, he got more recognition. But my point was that if a football team makes it to the Super Bowl every year, nonstop, defends it time after time again, There's not many people that are like, oh, I don't really feel like tuning in to watch the Super Bowl. I don't really want to see this team win the Super Bowl again. But if you look at Mighty Mouse's records, how many times he's defended the title, there's not many people buying those pay-per-views. That's why they kind of put him, kind of buried him there with the pay-per-view thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, his last fight wasn't on pay-per-view, was it?
No, it was free on FS1, but the last time he was on pay-per-view was against Dodson, I believe. And it did awful.
He has been relegated to Fox events because he can't draw a dime.
Yeah. And
so then the question is, well, why can't he draw a dime? Some people say it's because he's the size of a fourth grader. Some people, the guy's 5'2", 5'3". I mean, I don't know. Some people say it's because he's so tiny, but all you got to do is jump up 10 pounds. All you got to do is move up one weight class, and people have no problem, right?
Isn't that weird? There's like a cutoff. There's a cutoff.
Apparently, there's a cutoff. Like, people have no problem. People love Dillashaw or Cruz or Garbrandt or Dodson, any of those guys. People are behind those guys, and they look at them like legit champs. But then they go to DJ, and they're like, you know what? No, he's not really. I mean, yeah, he's good, but... You know what I mean? There's always a but. So it's maybe that's just that's the cutoff, and he's underneath it, or that he, is just tearing through people so easily that people say, wow, he's just a can crusher. When I mean he has faced tough competition.
Like Henry Cejudo, Joseph Benavidez. He just submitted Wilson Hayes, who's a black belt. He submitted him.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But you know what, Ted? The UFC has tried helping Mighty Mouse. They just had a freaking seasoned Ultimate Fighter dedicated to the guy.
I know.
Like, come on.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what can be done. I mean, here we are talking about the guy. I hope this helps. Oh, and so Pat checking in. He says Mighty Mouse is a noob, and he's a noob. And I always thought noob was like you're new at something. You're a noob. But
yeah, you're a noob. That's what we used to call people on Xbox playing Halo. You're
newbie. Hey newbie, you noob. But maybe he means he's a boob. Or I don't know what he means.
Pat meant noob. That's Pat lingo.
Noob, you noob. But then now now Pat's saying Bisping is a paper champion. I might have to agree with that.
He was saying that all day in the chat room today, Ted, in the Pure Evil MMA Army.
Yeah, was he? He's a paper champion. But hey, why don't we switch gears and talk about Bisping?
Jump into it.
Because maybe you know the latest, because I'm a little bit confused. I don't know if I have the timeline right here. Because, we know that the UFC said, forget it, GSP versus Bisping, not happening. We know that for sure, right? But I read something about Bisping saying, is it a done deal that Romero is facing Bisping? Romero's now, they're fighting, right? I thought. But then you had Bisping saying, oh, you know what? It's really a blessing in disguise that they pulled the fight between me and GSP because, damn, my knee is just not doing well. I really got to rehab this thing. So it's really fortuitous that we're not fighting in July, and but I didn't even know. But then I read another thing where he's like, "Oh, I didn't know the fight wasn't happening." Or I'm a little confused.
I think it's all bullshit, Ted. I think GSP wanted to fight in October, correct? It's only 3 months different. We spoke about this last week. I mean, just wait, But Yoel does deserve it. There's a lot of fans out there that think that he deserves it. But like you said, Ted, is it going on or is this not going on? Well, I'll tell you this much. This week, the UFC's really been pushing and showing a lot of Yoel Romero highlights, especially on FS1, and mixing it up with the Bisping talk there. No GSP, though. So, just by the looks of it, from what we've seen before in the past, I say that they're trying to set that fight up to make it official. Is it signed yet? I don't think so. But whether Bisping wants it or not, it seems like that's what they're leaning towards right now. I think that's stupid. I think Bisping should play into the whole knee thing. Wait till October, fight GSP. If you win that fight, you're going down in the history books, no matter what.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, okay, so Dana White was talking to. He had a confrontation. At least he had a mini Twitter war with Luke Rockhold. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So he told Rockhold, "Hey, look, GSP wanted the fight, Bisping wanted the fight, and the fans wanted the fight. That's why we signed the fight." But I've talked to other people online who do not want that fight to happen. They don't believe that GSP, that Bisping should get his money fight. Matter of fact, there was some guy today who has a problem with me saying that Tyron Woodley was a race baiter, at least in his last fight. Notice Tyron Woodley's not bringing up race now. Now that he's not facing Wonder Boy anymore, it doesn't matter. The race card doesn't matter. But that's another story entirely. But this guy was upset because he's like, oh, everyone's mad at Tyron Woodley for asking for a money fight, but Bisping can get his money fight. So some people want to see Bisping fight Romero.
Bisping's on a roll, baby. You know,
and they think that he's ducking Romero. They think he's ducking Romero. They're calling him a duck, you know?
Yeah. And I love, if you look at Michael Bisping when he talks about Yoel, he's always talking about how shady he is. Like when he's sitting on the bench, he's like, "Look, he's stalling. He's a cheater."
Right? Yeah, he's a cheater. He's shady. Yeah. I love you, Michael. I love you, Michael. I see you, boy. I see you.
That was an amazing moment right there when he knocked out Chris Weidman. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, you talk, you know, people talk about the preponderance of the evidence. You got your Stoolgate. You got the second coming of Watergate. You know, when they squeezed all the water on him. Oh, now we have to take time to dampen.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, agua. I don't know. Agua on me. I don't know.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, they had a big sponge and they squeezed the sponge. And, oh no, now we've got to take the time to pat him down. You know what I mean? So. You know, you could look at it one way and say, yeah, that guy is kind of shady, you know?
It's not just one time. This is like every other fight there's something going on where it's like, whoa. Not so fast, mister.
Right. Somebody said he was fence grabbing, right? Was there a couple of fence grabbings?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, a lot of fighters do that. But and then he popped for steroids. And Anne's checking in. She's saying, Mighty Mouse is not a noob. He is a great technical fighter who kicks butt and wins. Defends his belt lots of times. Yes,
Ann. I agree.
Here was the thing about Demetrius Johnson. One more thing about him.
Okay.
Matt the Wizard Hume, who fought in the early days of mixed martial arts, not in the UFC, but he fought a lot in Japan and stuff. Apparently, Matt said to Mighty Mouse, "Hey, look, a champion in the UFC should be banking $1 million a year."
I agree.
Minimum $1 million a year. And so Demetrius is like, well, let's see. I fight an average of twice a year. I make $400K per fight. So the UFC should give me a bonus. So that's $800. So the UFC should give me a bonus of $200K to get me up to $1 million each year. That's his reasoning.
I don't know what the contracts are like for the champions, but I feel like there should be something worked out. Like if you hold the belt, you should be paid a certain amount of money, correct? That's how I feel. I mean, if you make it to the championship, I really feel like you deserve it, especially when you're defending the title.
So like that should be the threshold. That's the minimum that they should make.
Or maybe like once you defend the title once, then sign that contract. Something needs to be done here because it doesn't make sense. If this is supposed to be taken seriously, Ted, you know, you gotta pay these guys, you know. If you're making that much money like they make, they have the money, you know.
Well, the Fertitas did. I don't know if WME IMG is going, what the hell? We just put $4.2 billion down on this thing. Holy crap, we got to make it back. Yeah. You know. But no, I know what you're saying. And yeah, you know, I've said it, you've said it, everyone said, you know, fighters need to know what they're worth. And you know, they determine that they have an idea in their mind. And so Demetrius Johnson has shared with us what that is. In his mind, it's $1 million a year. So you can't really fault the guy for that. I mean, when you look at the guy and there's a pile of belts around him, you know, I mean, that's pretty damn impressive.
You know, and this is kind of why I really like what Bellator has been doing. They might not have as much money as the UFC, but they're trying to please the fighters, you know, and that kind of gives them a little bit more leverage. It gives the fighters a little bit more leverage to kind of bargain with the UFC in their contract. So let us know what you guys think about this on Twitter at Pure Evil MMA and also at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. All right, so finishing up that Yoel versus Bisping thing, Ted, do you really want to see that fight? You know, Yoel definitely deserves it.
Oh, I do want to see it. I do. I want to see that, and I'm interested to see how the other, like the top 5, how that all shakes out, because you've got Mousasi in there. Who's he? Isn't he scheduled to fight Weidman or?
No, he just fought Weidman, and then there was that whole weird incident.
Oh, that's of course with the knee gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, but you got Weidman in there, you got Mousasi in there, you got Whitaker in there, Rockhold. You know what I mean? It's just a killer. It's a it's a cornucopia of killers.
Yeah, literally.
It's really exciting. I love the middleweight division right now, and I just can't wait for to see how it all shakes out. And but as far as GSP, I'm kind of thinking that's just not for him. I'm kind of thinking it's not meant to happen.
So what does he do? So what's going to be GSP's returning fight then, Ted?
170.
170, where he should be fighting at.
Right. Now, I mean, he still wants to fight for the title immediately, I would guess.
Yeah.
I think he thinks anything else is kind of beneath him. He feels he's entitled because he never lost the title. I mean, and you could make that argument. Hey, look, the guy beat, well, I always thought Johnny Hendricks won the fight.
Me too.
I always said Johnny Hendricks won, but okay, if you want to go officially, he beat Johnny Hendricks, and then he retired. So he never left. He never lost the belt. So you can make that argument. Does a former champ who never lost the belt, does that give him the right to just leapfrog over everybody?
It's weird because when Rory McDonald, before he left the UFC, GSP was also quoted saying, "I'm not really interested in a title fight." He didn't really want to step on anyone's toes. But now that Rory's gone, he definitely wants to have that gold back. In my opinion, that's the only thing that he should be doing right now is fighting for the title. That's where he belongs. That's where he left off. The question is that a smart idea? Look what happened to Ronda when she returned. And it's not like Ronda took any time off or anything, but when she jumped back into the action, the championship round, you know what I mean? The pressure, not the media this time around, but you know what I mean? It didn't work out for her. So if GSP goes in there, fights for the title, and is embarrassed, it's I don't know. It's just be smart about it. Be smart about it is all I'm saying.
Okay, so you think he should take a tune-up fight and
I don't know. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at. But he deserves a title shot. He was the champion, like you said. He left champion.
So where does that leave Damian Maia?
Yeah, right.
Because Damian Maia, he won, and so he beat Jorge Masvidal, and so he immediately was yelling at Dana White, who was cage side, and Dana White said, "Yep, you got it. You got the next shot." So. You know what I mean? Got the next shot, or don't believe his lies?
Yeah, because remember, Wonder Boy was supposed to be behind Damian Maia, and they pushed Wonder Boy ahead of Maia, and they give Maia this fight, and he wins it. So there's no way they can put anyone in front of him. But now you got this whole GSP thing, and you also got Woodley, who wants a money fight. So I don't know.
Yeah, but then the question is, but does he deserve a money fight? Yeah, has he? I mean, he's had two. Okay, so yes, he did knock out Robbie Lawler to win the title, but then he had two kind of fights with Wonder Boy.
The Wonder Boy fight was a little.
I mean, the first one, I want my money back. Yeah, but the first one was okay. And had some exciting parts. The second one was a snooze fest, and so does that warrant a money fight? It has to be. I think a lot of people think the money fight has to be deserved, right? You have to earn it. So has he earned it? That's the question.
I don't think he's earned it yet. I think Bisping's earned that, but I don't think Woodley's earned it. There's a lot of people who are going to freak out about that, though. And my only argument is, if they don't give him a money fight, he's going to be a co-main event somewhere, because the Damian Maia fight doesn't really put butts in the seat, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about it, but I don't think that really hypes anyone up. I don't think anyone's going to be paying the $60 unless you put some big names behind it.
Yeah, I mean, Woodley would have to fight Conor, GSP, or one of the Diaz brothers.
I like the Diaz thing.
You like that? I mean, that's a possibility. Probably not Nate, but Nick.
Yeah.
Nick has been the one that they've mentioned with Woodley. GSP, they've talked about that. GSP with Woodley. Conor even. Because remember, a couple weeks ago, Conor said, I'm getting ready for my next fight, and so did Woodley.
Yep. And
so
they didn't announce anything, Ted, at the presser.
I wondered if it was... What's that?
We're going to talk about the presser in a second, but they didn't announce anything for Woodley at the presser. I was kind of surprised.
That's true. That's true. They did not. That was really weird. And then didn't he get on Ariel's show and he said something about that? What did he say? Like, oh, I started my champ camp, but I don't really know if I'm fighting and who and when and any of that.
I think he does, but they're waiting for the right moment. I was surprised they didn't announce it then, but there were a lot of announcements then, and they did a great job at the presser. But I want to know what everyone really wants here, because there's so many people in line, but the only one that really deserves it is Damian Maia. How much more can you push this guy back? You can't stall any more time. The only reason why they gave him the Masvidal fight is to, keep him fresh until he can get the fight with Woodley, because the whole Wonder Boy thing. Give Maia the freaking fight. It has to. It's only right.
So then GSP, it seems like everybody wants to fight Neil Magny. How about GSP versus Neil? Why is that? Do they think that he's an easy fight?
He's certainly not.
No. I mean, at one point, the guy was on like a 7-fight win streak. So why does everybody want to fight Magny? I mean, he's fairly well known, but he's not.
And he's lanky as hell.
Right. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not incredibly popular. And he's not easy to beat. So why is everybody gunning for the guy? I don't know. But have GSP fight him, and then GSP can fight the winner of if he wins against Magny, he can fight the winner of Maia versus Woodley.
Well, they were saying Jorge Masvidal was supposed to be set right after the fight that he had with Maia too. They said Jorge Masvidal was trying to get the fight with Neil Magny, and then Neil Magny apparently had vaginitis apparently.
Vaginitis.
According to him, of course.
Yeah, vaginitis. Yes, it's real. Yeah. So then he started going after Wonder Boy, and Wonder Boy says, "Yeah, I'll fight you once I'm healed up." I guess he's got a knee injury or something. He goes, "Sure, yeah, I'll fight you once I'm ready." So that's pretty cool. I like how Masvidal wants to get right back up on the horse. You know what I mean?
I think
that guy is a true fighter.
I don't think that's a good fight for Wonder Boy. I mean, I think he should be fighting somebody that's on a streak. I mean, Jorge Masvidal, I mean, a win over him would be huge, but I don't know who I want to see Woodley fight. Let us know what you guys think about that. And what do you think about this mess? Who is next? What's going to happen with GSP? What's going to happen with Woodley? What's going on here? We need some answers. What do you guys think? Let us know at Pure Evil MMA and also at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. All right, Ted, I think the next thing we should talk about is the summer kickoff tour, the summer presser that they just had.
Oh, the presser. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of good things that went on there.
Well, we had Amanda Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko. We had Justin Gaethje, who's going to be fighting Michael Johnson. And Ted, that's where I want to start right there. They finally announced it. Justin Gaethje gets his opponent against a top-ranked guy. The question is, how is he going to do?
Well, I mean, they say be careful what you wish for. This is what he wanted. He wanted a top-ranked guy like Michael Johnson. He said, "Hey, my O's got to go. Who am I gonna?" He's looking for somebody to beat him. I mean, that's what he's saying. Obviously, he always wants to win, but he's looking for a challenge. He wants a challenge right from the jump. And I don't know that. I mean, they both are very aggressive. I don't see how we're gonna have a boring fight out of these guys. It's just going to be, a war.
Justin Gaethje is a very risky fighter. I'm interested to see if he keeps that same kind of style going into this UFC debut, because he has a lot to risk here coming over from World Series of Fighting. I'm kind of leaning towards Michael Johnson here, though. I really am. I don't know what to expect.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, Gaethje obviously hasn't fought, and Johnson was saying this. You haven't been fighting at this level of competition.
Yeah,
you know, you've been fighting those cans over there in WSOF. You haven't been fighting here. You haven't been fighting in the major leagues. And that's a good point. But, I mean, I don't know that Gaethje knows any other way to fight. It just seems like it's ingrained in him. Like, he just goes forward, and he'll take 5 shots just to deliver 1.
And if he wins this fight, it's going to be huge for this guy's career. It's going to do big things because he keeps saying, I'm going to drag you out into deep water, and I just can't wait to get in there with you. He wants to get knocked out. It's going to be an exciting fight, and they just announced the date for it too, Ted. It's going to be at the Ultimate Fighter 25 finale going down during International Fight Week.
International Fight Week, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be great. I can't wait for International Fight Week, for sure.
So next up, Ted, don't talk about my mama. Don't talk about my mama.
Michael Chiesa. That's right. Yeah. So I guess Kevin Lee said, what did he say?
He was like, we're gonna put on a good fight. Don't worry, I'll be there. I know your mama got some tickets. And he just don't talk about my mama.
Right. Yeah. Now, I mean, that is apparently I was reading that's a sore spot for Michael Chiesa, but
any 4th grader out there.
What's that?
It's a soft spot for him and any other 4th grader out there. That's a lunchroom.
I mean, it is for him, and you know, there is kind of that unwritten rule that you don't bring up family. Don't
talk about my mama
in the fight game. You don't talk about moms or kids or any of that in the fight game. And so who knows? Maybe Kevin Lee, was like, I'm just gonna subtly bring. I don't even need to. Say anything really
bold,
crazy, or over the top, lurid about this guy's mom. All I have to do is say,
I know your mama got tickets.
Just mention her, but boom, the guy just blows up. Maybe it was all planned by Kevin Lee, but we saw Chiesa. Now he did do that thing where somebody better hold me back. He said somebody better get in between. You know what I mean? So, like, hold me back.
Yeah.
So he rushes over, and then Kevin Lee.
He landed a punch on him, Ted.
He did. Because there were 2 guys that were kind of getting in between them, but they were concentrating on Chiesa. Nobody was concentrating on Lee, and so Lee landed one, and Chiesa said he didn't even realize it until I guess he got backstage, and one of his friends said, "Dude, he hit you." He was like, "He did? I didn't even notice." And then I guess Chiesa said to Dana White, "Well, if that's how he's going to punch, then he's in some trouble."
Yeah, yep. It kind of seemed like he was trying to punch, but trying to hold it back at the same time, knowing there was going to be a consequence to it. So you can't really put too much money on. Yeah,
it probably wasn't the hardest punch that Kevin Lee's ever thrown.
Yeah, it was kind of just like a reaction, but it definitely started some fireworks in the MMA community because a lot of people are now looking forward to that fight. Just off that, the game starts.
Yep.
The heat's on. Bring the heat.
The heat is on.
And speaking of someone else that got physical as well, the champ Amanda Nunes gets a little physical with my girl Valentina Shevchenko there. And I think Valentina did a great job on the microphone as well, Ted. You don't really usually see that out of her. She's kind of quiet, but you know what? When she's out with her sister at her sister's fight, she's kind of the little sister. She's chirpity. But I think she did a great job finding herself in front of the UFC microphone this time around and really working Amanda Nunes, making her pretty mad.
Is that what it was? Is that why Nunes kind of gave her a little bump on the chin?
Valentina was like, she was pretty much saying, I almost beat you. And I know it doesn't amount to much, but Valentina did almost beat Amanda Nunes in the 2nd and 3rd round. The argument is if they had 2 more rounds, who would that fight have gone to? Amanda had a great first round, but Valentina really took it over, turned things up halfway through the 2nd. It was tied even there.
So Nunes won the first one by split decision, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it was very close.
Last year, too.
Right. So yeah, that's right. Because I think Shevchenko was saying, well, yeah, now we got 5 rounds. Now it's going to be a 5-rounder. So we're going to see, how it works out.
And what did we see in that fight with her against Holly Holm, Ted? Valentina Shevchenko had a hard first round. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, clear sweep. It kind of seemed like she needed that first round to kind of warm up, or could be what happened in the Amanda Nunes fight. We're going to have to wait and find out now. We got 5 rounds to find out.
Right. So I guess she's kind of a slow starter.
Yeah.
But peaks later in the fight. Oh, hey, by the way, Ann was saying that Ann was asking us about Chase Sherman.
Chase Sherman. Hell yeah.
Have you interviewed him?
Well, nope. He actually just added a couple of the Pure Evil Army members to his Twitter account.
Oh, nice. So he was fighting. Oh God, what was that guy's name? Yeah. Coulter. Yeah, Coulter. Rashad
Coulter. That's what it was. Yeah.
All right. So that dude, I figured out. I mean, he had a good record, but he's from Dallas, so it makes sense that they would have him on the card. Mm. But that was oh my God, that was a rock'em sock'em robot fight. You know what I mean? I mean, you had Sherman just nailing Coulter with the leg kicks. Mm-hmm. You know, and as soon as I saw like maybe the second one land, and he wasn't. As soon as I realized that Coulter wasn't defending those, he wasn't checking them. Mm. Like, oh, he ought to stick with that. He ought to just keep hammering that leg, and he pretty much did all the way through, and it really did affect Coulter's movement.
It had a huge effect on his movement. He wasn't able to plant his feet and really pick up any power. That was a huge thing. And Sherman was in a sticky situation as well, man, because I'm pretty sure he lost his 2 previous fights, and this was his 3rd UFC fight. He really needed a win here. And at a couple points in that fight, it looked like Couture was going to come back, too. That's what made the fight really exciting. But you know what? Sherman was breaking down the leg so hard. I thought Couture was going to give up at a couple of points in that fight. It really seemed like he had enough. And then he would come back with a couple of punches, and you're like, how is this guy still going?
Right, yeah. I mean, they both showed incredible chins, incredible heart. Yeah, you're right. Sherman was possibly looking at a pink slip. He lost to Justin Ledette, and then he had lost to Walt Harris. So he needed this win badly, and he got it.
Yeah, and he's really riding high off of it. He's actually doing a competition or a contest, or I don't even know, a giveaway, I guess I should say, on his Twitter. So go follow his Twitter page. He's going to send out an autograph to one person once he reaches 3,000 followers. And he's pretty close right now. So let's try to boost that up. Thanks for bringing that up, Ann. That was a very impressive fight. And the one thing, Ted, that I got to bring up before we move forward is after the fight, he was kind of begging Dana White for those 50 G's. Mama needs a new pair of shoes, and he got a bonus. So congratulations.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, great news there. Yeah, that you know, how about the ending with that elbow from the, you know, I think he had Coulter up against the cage, and he just boom with a short elbow, and just wilted Coulter. I mean, just kind of crumpled him, folded him up like an accordion.
Yeah, did you watch the entire fight card, Ted? I really want to, really quick, we can end the show talking about that.
I watched from the start of the prelims. I mean, excuse me, start of the not the Fight Pass prelims, the ones that were on Fox. What are we looking at there? Oh, there it is. Boom, nice, like right behind the ear. Wow, I could watch that all day. Boom, man.
Brutal.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, he's a big boy too. 6'4", 250 pounds.
Yeah, guys, make sure to follow him at Chase Sherman UFC on Twitter. He's at 2,585 followers. Hit 3,000. He's going to be doing a giveaway. I just retweeted it at Pure Evil MMA, so go check it out.
So Chase Sherman actually he follows people back, huh?
Yeah, he's been following people back lately.
Oh, nice.
Ted, let's finish off with the presser talk really quick. There was a couple more interesting fights, you know, lined up for that.
Well, DC and John Jones, right?
And that's exactly what I was hoping you were going to jump into. The one-liners, the one-liners coming out of DC and Bones was just amazing.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite?
I did coke the night before we fought, and I beat you.
Yeah. Wasn't it like a weekend of coke?
Yeah.
I did a weekend of coke, and before I beat you. And then what did DC say? And prostitutes. And he's like, prostitutes? What?
DC was loving it, Ted. I don't know if you realized it, but finally he wasn't being booed. He was taking it all in.
John Jones.
No, DC. He wasn't being booed. Yeah, it seemed like.
Oh, okay. I didn't have the volume up enough. I wasn't sure because he always gets a lot of hate. for whatever reason. I've never been able to understand that. I've always liked the guy. I've kind of always, I've always sided with him in the whole DC versus John Jones thing, and I mean, so John Jones, before the official presser started, so you've got this curtain that they have up, right, and then they've got the split level, the levels of seats where the fighters sit. They got the curtain, and then there's the crowd on the other side. So they're behind the curtain, and John Jones said something about how are you going to explain to your kids that you lost to me or something like that. And then so DC goes nuts, and don't you ever mention my fucking kids, and then throws a water bottle and it actually tags Jones in the face.
$50,000 suspension right there.
You think?
Well, come on. It's absolutely crazy. They're finding Conor McGregor originally $100,000. Then we have punches thrown. We had 2 people get hit at this presser, and then another water bottle thrown. That's 3 people that got physically touched by another human.
It's like everybody did a line of coke before they got out on stage,
except for Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who was sitting there looking like death, and JoJo Calderwood, who was up top looking like Lord,
Oh, Lord. She's still around?
Lord.
Wow, man.
Lord. I'm Lord. You watch South Park? Stan's dad is actually Lord.
Lord
Stan's
the singer.
Dad is actually Lord.
The singer.
The singer. Lord.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen South Park in a long time. My kids
JoJo
are...
Calderwood going out dressed up like her, so... She's going to be fighting Karolina Kowalkiewicz. But, yeah, Karolina looked awful. Apparently, she was training before that. That's why she looked that way. But if anyone was doing coke, it wasn't her.
Well, yeah, I just, hold on. I'm writing a little message to Eastside Rider.
Eastside Rider checking in. Thanks for tuning
in, brother. His name's Richard. But anyway, yeah. So let's see. What else do we have here with the topics, Eddie? What else do you want to talk about?
Well, after the presser, I think it's only appropriate to talk about this weekend's, UFC fight. Just quickly rate it, brush through it, and what did you think about the main and co-main events?
Of 211?
Yes.
Of UFC 211. I loved it, man. I mean, oh crap! Now I'm having like a okay. So yeah, Joanna put on a masterful performance, an absolutely spectacular performance there. No, she did not get the knockout, and some people are knocking her about that. But you look at who's her opponent? Jessica, right? No,
Jessica Andrade.
Andrade. You look at Andrade. Andrade, is built like a like a brick shit house.
I was gonna say the same freaking word.
You were gonna say brick shit house too?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's not easy to knock her out, and I mean, Joanna is kind of. I'm not saying, and I would never say this about her. Like in terms of ducking, she's not like Michael Bisping, but in terms of throwing lots of punches, but not necessarily having the punching power. But Bisping was able to develop that. We saw him knock out Luke Rockhold. So. I truly think that Joanna was throwing with everything that she had. The head kicks, the punches. God. She was throwing hard. It's just she, for whatever reason, she couldn't, the chin on Andrade held up. But nevertheless, it was still a great performance.
Andrade has looked amazing since moving to this weight class. The argument was, and there were a lot of people picking for Andrade to beat Joanna there. Joanna is more like a TJ Dillashaw, where she really just breaks the opponent down until they really have nothing left in them. And she did a great job, took every single round. One of the most impressive fights that I think people were expecting to go a completely opposite way was Frankie Edgar versus Yair Rodriguez, Ted. What did you think about that performance of Frankie Edgar, just really showing his dominance once again?
Well, I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was wrong. I picked Yair Rodriguez. But you know how they say, and maybe this is just something that losers say, but they say you learn more in your losses than you do in your wins. Is that just something that the people who lose say? But no, I mean, we know now that Yair Rodriguez needs a ground game. If I were him, and I said this before, but if I were him, you got the striking down. You're the master of the spinning shit and the flying shit. Take that, set it aside, get yourself a BJJ coach, get yourself a wrestling coach, and drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, Ted, you even brought it up last week. How is he going to go up against a wrestler like Frankie Edgar, who is always applying pressure, always moving forward, looking for takedowns, and he's everywhere? It's hard to really keep track of him, and he really just smothered. Yeah, a little bit like Clay. He's just too much. He's just like a methed out freaking badger or something crazy.
He is. He even said it. I think on Twitter or something. He's persevering. He's got, he's got no quit in him, really,
Going into that fight, Ted, there are a lot of people really hoping that Yair was going to win, hoping that we could see a Max Holloway or Jose Aldo go up against him, but definitely he needs to work on his ground game. He was definitely exposed here at UFC 211, and, once again, you were matched up with BJ Penn before this fight, who is returning. He never really fought anybody of that kind of a caliber that was still fresh like Frankie Edgar, and he definitely, like you said, probably learned a lot from that one fight there.
Hey, Pat's saying that Joanna's striking is sexy. And I agree. I mean, if ever there was sexy striking, she is the queen of that. Absolutely.
There were people going back and forth wondering what would happen if it were Ronda Rousey versus Joanna. I think Ronda would take that fight, and two different weight classes, obviously, but Ronda all day, baby, on that.
Really?
Yeah.
But Ronda has no striking.
I don't think Joanna's going to knock her out like Amanda did.
No, I don't think so. But no, I think Joanna's movement, she'd be able to avoid the clinch and the takedown and keep her at bay, and just leg kick the shit out of her, jab the shit out of her, But that's me.
Dream fights, right? Dream fights.
Well, what do you think about Rose Namajunas versus Joanna? Oh, I know. Stone Cold Killer there, huh? It's like, smile, baby.
So if no one knows what we're doing right there, that impression, they pan to Holly Holm, Valentina Shevchenko, and Rose Namajunas, and they're all smiling, all happy, and then there's Rose. Just...
Yep. Who they flew in. They flew her in from, where's she, like in Denver, Colorado, right?
Stone cold look on her face. Yeah, she didn't look like she wanted to be there.
You kind of got a little Stallone thing going on there.
Who, me?
Yeah, you with the glasses.
You like that?
Oh yeah.
I go all day with these things.
Oh yeah, man. You got a Sly Stallone thing going on.
Oh yeah, the backwards hat and everything too.
Sure.
A little bit of arm wrestle. What's that movie where he goes in for arm wrestle? He flips the hat backwards.
That's Over the Top, man. Over the Top. I was thinking, with those, you kind of had I think he wore those in Cobra, the movie Cobra. But then, remember, in his early days, I think it was right after he did the first Rocky, he did a movie called Nighthawks, where he had a beard. It's like one of the only movies where Sly actually had a beard.
I'm gonna do the rest of the episode in the glasses, Ted. All right?
Go for it, man. Do it. Do it.
Well, that's great. No, I actually got yelled at by my dad. He said I look shady because I wear the sunglasses, like when we go in stores or something.
Shady because you're wearing shades.
Well, at night.
Oh, you wear your sunglasses at night, do you?
Oh, I wear my sunglasses at night. You know it. But yeah, Rose Namajunas, you got to expect her to be next to fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Is she ready after her performance against the Karate Hottie and beating Tisha Torres, making that comeback there? I want to see it. I want to see that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great striking battle. And then you got to watch out for Rose on the ground. She is. She's great with the submissions.
I think Rose could take that belt, man. I think Rose has a better shot than I think Jessica did, honestly.
Well, I was on what was it, Sure Dog. Not many people were giving her too much of a chance. What's that?
Why?
They just think Joanna's going to outclass her. They think Joanna is too much for her. Just too polished in the striking, and would I guess either be able to avoid the takedown or I mean, you're not going to get a submission without getting it to the ground. How is Rose's takedowns?
Well, this is something that we've been discussing for a while now, Ted, wondering if Rose is ready for a title shot. remember when her last loss, which was against not Tisha Torres. She had a loss somewhere else in there, correct?
Well, that was to Carla Esparza for the championship. That was in the finals. Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about another loss.
I'm talking about Rose Namajunas having her most recent loss. I don't think it was to Carla Esparza, was it? That was the Ultimate Fighter. So was the Tisha Torres loss.
It was to Carolina.
Her last loss was to Carolina.
Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, and then Carolina went for the title. So yeah, that was the question. Wondering if Rose is going to be ready for that. Ready for this championship fight. I think she is. I think she's been doing a great job. You know, the argument there is, again, she did fight the Karate Hottie, which you got to wonder where she's at. They had her fight Paige Van Zant. You know what I mean? So did they throw her into the fire too quick? I don't know. I think Rose is ready, though. Well, I think she's ready now.
Yeah, because if you look at the rankings, Joanna has beaten everybody above Rose. Hold on, I'll tell you in one little second here.
Carolina, Tisha.
All right, all right, so Claudia Gadelha is at number 1. Joanna's beaten her twice. Then she's beaten Carolina once. And, Rose just moved up one. Okay.
Just now.
Just now. Hot off the presses. Previously, a couple days ago, or before the fights, Jessica Andrade was at number 3 and Rose was at number 4. So you could say, well, Joanna has beaten numbers 1, 2, and 3. And then so the logical next opponent would be Rose. Now that Andrade lost, Andrade moves down to 4 and Rose is up to number 3.
How do you move down after fighting the champion? That doesn't make sense.
Well, you lose.
Well, yeah, but it's not like Rose then won a fight after that and was able to move up with a higher ranked opponent.
No, but Rose hasn't fought for the title so she hasn't lost to the. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I guess because she hasn't lost to the champion. She hasn't fought the champion yet, and Andrade took a loss, so I don't know. I guess it's to make it look better. Well, Rose is at number 3, so
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Right?
Oh, okay.
It does make sense now. I guess you got to move Rose up if you're trying to push her for the title shot.
Yeah, so I think they should make that fight. I think Rose is ready, as ready as she'll be,
Also on this fight card, Ted, we had Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin the Diamond. I forgot who you picked last week. I think you were leaning towards Eddie Alvarez, correct?
I was, and this one ended in controversy with the knees
once again, and of course Herb Dean was involved. He always has the worst luck with getting in one of these kind of
once again. All right, so here's the deal. Okay, and Minion, our friend Minion, helped me out with this. He reminded me that Texas, don't mess with Texas, that Texas has not yet agreed to the new rules established by the Association of Boxing Commissions. So therefore, the old rules are in effect, which is that a downed opponent is a fighter that has 3 points down. So either your feet or your shins or your knees or whatever, and one hand, and it can be as little as one thumb or one finger of one hand.
Okay.
The new rules, it's 4 points. It's either your palms or your fists, and then your feet or your knees or whatever.
You have to be putting actual pressure on it, yeah.
Right. So you look at Dustin Poirier. He had 3 points down, and Eddie fired off 2 knees to the head, and then he had his fist, and then he put his hand, and then he put his fist down for the 3rd knee.
Yeah.
So they were all illegal. They all were.
That was a very exciting fight, Ted, and it just sucks when it ends that way.
And so, yeah, right, and absolutely, they need to run that back. And Poirier's already calling out Eddie. He's already all over Twitter. Eddie, he's already saying that they got to do it. But and I don't know what Eddie's response has been, but Herb Dean tried to say that that Eddie didn't mean it. That he didn't mean to throw an illegal knee.
He was just going off reactions.
See, but to me, I don't think intent matters. It doesn't mean whether you meant to or not. You threw several illegal knees.
I agree.
It's pretty much either you did or you didn't. Mm-hmm. If you did, then it's a disqualification win for Dustin Poirier, not a no contest.
Yeah, I agree. That was the argument. Should it have been a no contest or a DQ?
So now Poirier, he's gonna appeal it.
He's gonna go for the DQ.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the DQ win, win by disqualification.
And he's calling for the fight on again.
Exactly. Yes, he wants both, and he wants all his money. He wants all his money.
I don't blame him. He was actually winning that fight. Eddie Alvarez was rocked. There was one point where it seemed like Eddie had like a late reaction to one of the strikes where he stood up and then you could just tell his head was just off and he just lost balance, fell back into the cage, and then he fires off these shots on Dustin. So then Dustin backs off. It was just an all-out dog fight. But I think Dustin probably could have won that fight, man. I really do.
So refresh my memory. At what point? How did the tide turn so that Eddie was able that Poirier was on his knees and Eddie was firing knees off to his head? How did that happen then? How did the tide change?
So when Eddie got rocked and fell back, of course Dustin tried to jump on it.
Yeah.
So he goes in there and he pounces on him, and we always see this happen in Eddie Alvarez fights. You think he's about to go down, you think it's about to be finished, and then he just starts firing off these shots, kind of like our boy Robbie Lawler here. Very similar to Robbie Lawler. And he hurt Dustin. And Dustin got cornered up against the cage and then ended up just falling down to a couple strikes and then ended up in that position.
Okay. So it was kind of Eddie mounting a comeback there.
Yeah. Yep.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I just couldn't remember that. I think I was at B-Dubs and so I might have gotten distracted or whatever. But because that was the last prelim fight. It didn't, even though one of the fights was scrapped, it was Pettis and Cejudo. That fight got scrapped, so I figured, oh my God, they've got to move Poirier and Alvarez up. I mean, that's a main card fight any other time. So I figured they would move that up, but I got why they kept it there, because it's such a high profile fight. It's a great way to lead into the main card. So anyway, yeah, I couldn't remember how the tide changed and how Eddie got the advantage there, because I know Poirier was lighting him up.
I got 8 out of 11 picks right, Ted, and I'm looking back at the card right now. There are a lot of great fights on this one. The David Branch, him making his re-debut, I guess I should say. It wasn't a bad fight, but it was slow, and it reminds us of why no one was really excited for David Branch's return.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had an amazing run in World Series of Fighting. He was a dual champion. But he's in the 185 division. See, that division, if I was him, I would go to 205, because 205 I think he would have better success at 205. He has the frame for it, and it's a thinner division. 185 is just full of killers, and so I think he would have better luck at 205, but that's just me. But the other fight I really liked was Chaz Skelly and Jason Knight. Did you see the jiu-jitsu in that fight? Like, even if you're say you're a guy that just likes striking, I just don't see how you could watch this fight and not go, wow, you know what? That was really cool on the ground right there, because Knight was constantly moving from submission attempt to submission attempt, and Chaz Skelly trying like hell to stay one step ahead of him, defending these submissions. That was just damn exciting.
Chaz Skelly, I had him on the show after he won his last fight against the Ultimate Fighter Season 22's freaking the Geico caveman looking dude. What the hell was his name? Grits, Brandon Grits, that he just beat. And he won that fight by submission, very impressive submission as well. Going into this fight, I had Skelly, but a lot of people were warning me, like, no, Knight is going to take this. And I'll tell you what, no love lost for either fighter. They put on a great performance today. I got to agree with you. Whether you love the striking or not, you loved that fight. It was just so fluent. It looked good. It looked like a good fight.
It was like the old pride fight between Kazushi Sakuraba and Carlos Newton, just flowing. It just like you said. You used the word flowing. I mean, fluid. It just one move to the next, but it actually ended with a TKO, I believe, right? Knight landed a combo on Skelly, knocked him to the ground, and then it was a couple more, I think, hammer fists.
Yeah, he finished it.
And just like that. Dang.
And then
what's that?
And then we had Damian Maia get the win over Jorge Masvidal. There were a lot of people trying to object to how Maia won, just holding on to his back. Nick Diaz being one of them. But I think Maia definitely won that fight. Jorge Masvidal, when he was able to escape, and I think he did a great job defending a lot of the submissions there, he put some damage on Damian Maia with some pretty slick, ice-cold shots to the face.
Yeah, I think I actually thought that the judges would go with Masvidal. I think when I watched that fight, I was like, you know what? I think he's going to get the split decision. I knew it was going to be close.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be close. What do you think about Woodley? I don't know. I mean, Woodley's making a big joke about it. Ha ha, I got a backpack.
Yeah.
You saw Brian Stan gave him a backpack, and all that stuff. But and he says he matches up well with Maia. But how can you not be very wary of his jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
How can you not be like, I got to really watch out for that?
Yeah,
you know,
it's scary. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, even Frank Mir, who's a heavyweight and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, was like, that dude practically raped me. He said, I trained with him and he nearly raped me. Not to make fun of rape, but I mean that was Frank Mir's words. Then in other words, he was dominated by the guy.
Yeah.
In such a dominant fashion.
Hats off to Jorge Masvidal though for going 3 rounds. And in Maia's last few fights, no one's made it out of the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So, but Maia, where was his striking? Guy has no striking though. That's the thing. That's the criticism.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, how is he going to, is he going to strike with Tyron Woodley?
No.
How is he going to take Tyron Woodley down? Tyron Woodley is a former collegiate wrestling champion. How the heck is he going to take him down? Maybe Woodley's right. Maybe he does match up well with Maia.
I get nervous off the bat, Ted, but you're making me think here. And
I don't know. I mean, jiu-jitsu is his. I mean, he's top 3 in mixed martial arts. With Jacare and Verdun, as far as the top Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioners in mixed martial arts. But he's got to get Woodley to the ground. How the heck is he going to do that? Now, there was that one point in the fight with Masvidal, where he caught a kick and then he elevated the leg and rushed forward and kind of threw him into the fence. That's another way to get him to the ground, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not really a takedown per se. But it's off of a kick, so it's a little different. So he could try to catch something that Woodley throws, But if Woodley just says, "Well, I'm just going to use my fists," I don't know, man. I don't know.
If Woodley does get this win, I'm going to have a whole new respect for him, man, because Maia has just been so dominant lately. Getting past Jorge Masvidal, even though it was in a split decision, there's no way you can doubt this guy anymore, especially kneeling in front of Dana White. There's no way. Forget the money fight. This is the fight, whether people are going to tune in or not. If they knew what it was about, if they knew who these two guys were, if you're a fan of the sport, you're going to want to see that fight. Are you going to want to pay money for it? Probably not, but you're going to want to watch the fight, So
right.
That's a good matchup there. I am interested in that, and you got to give it to him next, but we'll see what happens with that. And lastly, Ted, Stipe. How about that? How about Stipe going in there and knocking out JDS? There was no competition there. No competition at all.
Well, he got, I'm the world champ! I'm the world champ! I'm still the world champ! He got hurt with the low kicks.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he realized, oh, shit, I better end this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But once he decided that, he ended it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
It was nothing like the first fight was a knockdown, drag out war. It was hammer and tong, tooth and nail for 5 rounds, and with Junior Dos Santos winning by, was it unanimous decision? He won by decision.
Mm-hmm.
This was nothing like that, you know, and so you got a lot of people calling for JDS to retire.
No.
You got a lot of people saying,
I hate that.
yeah, I know, but and you know, you got people saying, well, who's next? Who's next for Stipe? Is it going to be Overeem versus the winner of Reem versus Verdum? Although you could say, well, geez, both those guys lost to Stipe already. Should a fight between the two of them determine the new number 1 contender, or should they fight somebody else each first? Should it be Francis Ngannou, who's on like what, a 5 or 6 fight win streak, and actually now has started to criticize Stipe, saying, oh, I'm not impressed. He's pulling the old GSP. I'm not impressed by your performance.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
that's a good idea for him. That's a great idea for Francis Ngannou to do.
What do you think? Who do you think Stipe should face next?
Well, first, let me just answer this really quick. I hate when people say that people should retire. Don't say that, especially when they're fighting the top of the most elite guys in mixed martial arts in the UFC, fighting for the championship, fighting and beating Big Ben Rothwell. These are people that are fighting the best of the best. If you lose a fight, I mean, any fight could go either way. You know,
right.
You're fighting at the top. You're going to lose sometimes. Doesn't mean you need to retire. But at the same time, Ted, the competition wasn't there this time around for JDS. He was really trying to go in there and do what he did against Big Ben Rothwell with the tummy tucks and all of that. I don't know what's next for JDS, but what I think is next for Stipe, or at least what I want to see, is Cain Velasquez, man. I think everyone wants to see that. Are we going to see it? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's interesting because he's still recovering from, what, surgery?
And cannabis. Remember, he got in trouble for using cannabis as well?
Yeah. All right, so there's all that, and you got Ngannou saying he wants to fight Cain next. He's sitting at number 5, Francis Ngannou, and he wants to fight Cain, who's number 2, right?
Breaking news, Ted.
Uh-oh.
3 minutes ago, Dana White says McGregor has agreed to terms for the Floyd fight, starting to work on Mayweather's side now. Breaking news just right now.
Oh, okay. Where'd you hear that from?
I thought report from the mouth of Dana White too. Quoted quotations.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I thought we knew that already, but okay.
Well, no. This week was the deadline. Remember, Sunday was the deadline to come to agreement, and the dust kind of settled. There was no word. Nothing was really going on. So, I think a lot of people were giving up on it. So this is definitely breaking news because a lot of people didn't think it was going to go down. I mean, Sunday was the deadline, and nothing happened. So.
Okay. All right, so now he has to talk with Mayweather and his crew.
But McGregor agreed on something, and I bet it was a lot. I've heard
it was like 75 mil or somewhere in there.
That's worth it. Worth every dollar. Might not be 100 mil, but 75 mil, man. Whew.
Hell
Mayweather
yeah.
will make that. He'll get way more than 75.
Probably make double that or something. Because I mean, he's his own promoter too. Mm-hmm. See, so he gets all the money pretty much. I mean, yeah, he's got other people he's got to pay. Al Heyman, I guess, is somehow involved, and but you know what I'm saying? Like Dana White or the UFC and Conor have to split their part, and Floyd, acting as his own promoter, gets all of the other part. You know what I mean? So yeah, Floyd's gonna make at least twice as much.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm looking forward to that. But that is some breaking news. Ted, before we end today's show, what else do you want to discuss?
You know what? I mean, I think I'm good. Mike Perry wants to fight Matt the Immortal Brown, who I saw on The Ultimate Fighter, right? He's there.
Helping them.
Who is he helping? I think which side is he helping?
He's helping TJ.
TJ, okay.
Yeah, he trains with them and Dwayne.
All right, so I saw Matt Brown there. So Mike Perry wants to fight Matt Brown, but then you got Thiago Alves who wants to fight Mike Perry.
I like that fight better.
You like that fight better?
For Mike Perry, yeah.
I think I do too. I think I like that fight better. I don't know about Matt Brown. I don't know if he would.
Well, the argument is, Ted, Matt Brown's kind of been on a downward spiral, but then again, he's facing elite guys like Cowboy Cerrone. You know what I mean? So, and Damian Maia. It would be a huge win for Mike Perry, but I still would get a little nervous about matching him up too quickly with another elite guy. We saw what happened with Alan Jouban and how he just looked so much more technical than Mike Perry. Almost embarrassing, Mike Perry in that fight.
I mean, but I could see, even though Jouban has a win over Mike Perry, I could see Perry actually ranking ahead of Joe. Isn't he already ranked ahead of him?
Well, Jouban just lost to Gunnar Nelson by.
Well,
by
that is true. That is true. So here we are, welterweight division. Let's see. Matt Brown's at number 14. Blah, 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 blah. No. Oh, no. Wait. What division is he? He's a 170. Right?
You're talking about Matt Brown and them? They're 170 pounds. Same weight class. Roger Lawler.
Perry's
Cowboy.
not here. Perry's not ranked. Mike Perry's not ranked.
Yeah, that makes sense because Alan Jouban wasn't even ranked not too long ago either.
Jouban's not ranked either.
Yeah.
And Thiago Alves not ranked, but Matt Brown is at 14.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see why. Actually, no, I don't. There's other guys in that division that are ranked down there at the top 15 that are a little less scarier than Matt Brown. Matt Brown is a motherfucker. That's a scary fight.
Yeah, I mean, hell, it wasn't all that long ago. He was on quite a tear. I mean, didn't he have like a 7-fight win streak?
He certainly did.
8-fight streak?
Yep.
Let's see. Now, he's had 3 losses in a row. But, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he had a 7-fight win streak. Then he lost to Robbie Lawler and Johnny Hendricks. Then he beat Tim Means. And unfortunately, now he's on another 3-fight win streak. Maia, Ellenberger, and Cerrone. But yeah, so if you're Mike Perry, it makes I get why Mike Perry wants to fight Matt Brown because Matt Brown is ranked. So yeah. Perry's like, I want to get ranked. I'm gonna beat a guy that's in the 10 to 15 range, and if I beat him, maybe I'll get ranked. Take his place, kind of thing.
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But let us know what you guys think. Is that a good idea for Mike Perry? Let us know at Pure Evil MMA and also at Ted Czech. That's TEDCZECH. All right, Ted, I think it's time to end today's show. But lastly, we always hand it over to our chat room. If there's anything going on in there, really quick, we'll take one question.
Oh, let's see here. Who fights next? Okay, Eastside Rider Richard is asking, who fights next, Kane or Habib?
Habib, I think. I would say Habib probably fights next.
Really? Because he's, I think he's undergoing some type of treatment right now.
Oh, and he's going to have to fast soon, too, right?
Right. When is that? In like June? July?
It's coming up.
So I don't see him fighting until the fall. God knows about Kane. So I would say, I'd say Habib. Because I think once Ramadan is over with, he'll be ready. I mean, more or less, give him another, month or two. But I think he'll be ready sooner than Kane.
I'm excited to see Kane come back, man. Look at his last fight at UFC 200 against Travis Brown. He threw a freaking spinning heel kick. I mean, that was an exciting fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a good question. Who is going to be back first, Habib or Kane? That's a good question. I am going to lead towards Habib, but I want to see Kane return first, honestly. I really am excited about that. It sucks that the whole Habib thing never went through with Tony Ferguson. That was something really exciting set up. But great question, Richard. Great question.
Absolutely, yeah. So my vote's on Habib because it's a known thing. Provided he gets over his whatever's going on with him.
The tiramisu,
yep. Tiramisu gate.
I don't know this. What is this tiramisu? What is this?
Somebody slipped him some,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I think it's going to be Habib. But, yeah, we just have to wait and see, man. It's freaking crazy, this MMA business,
Yeah. Yeah, the MMA gods, you can never tell with them. Well, Ted, it was a great night. We had a lot to recap.
Yes, it was.
An exciting week in MMA, I have to say. Very exciting
Yep.
week. We had the summer presser, UFC 211 after a few weeks without any UFC. I think it was a great week moving forward. Some people are still a little angry about this year, saying it's not a most exciting year. I've been having a blast, and I think we got a lot to look forward to as we get to the second half of this year. Well, Ted, I'm going to hand it over to you. Where can everybody find you on social media?
I'm at Ted Czech, on Twitter at Ted Czech, and I'm on YouTube. I'm doing some live videos. I do follow the news, so follow me, and I'll keep you up to date on everything.
So you're doing a Monday night thing now, right?
I do a Monday night thing. Yeah, that's a regular thing now. The Monday night thing's regular. I was considering doing another one somewhere else in the week, but I kind of do. Every now and then I do like lunchtime little things, like a 15 or 20 minute, just like a brief, like today I did one. Oh God, it was about maybe 6:30 or so, and I hyped this show and just talked about a couple other things, So it's kind of like whenever I can fit it in. The live thing seems to be what people really enjoy. They want the interaction. They want to engage. So.
Well, guys, make sure to head over to Ted's page and stay up on all the latest MMA news. He's always getting the latest headlines right in his car, right on lunch break. I always look forward to that. Been a fan of Ted for a long time now. And Ted, thanks for coming back again for our 49th episode.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what that means. Next week's a big 50, and me and Ted are going to discuss about something big. We got to do something special for next week. We'll figure it out. But if you guys have any suggestions, let us know at Pure Evil MMA. I'm EVil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com, and MMA UK. Have a great night, guys. Behave yourselves.